Thanks to its lush forests and temperate climate, Normandy has become an ideal sanctuary for various species of wildlife, wild boars included. In recent years, their population has surged rapidly, reaching into the thousands. And today, join us as we embark on a thrilling wild boar hunt in a government-sanctioned hunting zone. At dawn, we arrive in the forest. This is the coolest time of day, and also when wild boars are most active. After nearly half an hour of quiet tracking, the sudden barking of hunting dogs pierced the stillness, an unmistakable sign that the prey had revealed itself. We quickly determined the boar's direction, raised our rifles, and adjusted our aim. One managed to flee, but soon the entire herd emerged, a moment we couldn't afford to miss. I immediately pulled the trigger several times in quick succession. The powerful burst of gunfire brought down one wild boar within seconds. Continuing the mission, we spotted another group of wild boars darting in and out of view, as if sensing being pursued and desperately seeking an escape route. I quickly adjusted my scope, took a deep breath, and steadied my heartbeat. The shot rang out, shattering the silence. Despite their agility and speed, the boar couldn't withstand the fierce attack. Moments later, another boar suddenly charged out. I stayed calm and gently squeezed the trigger. One more shot, one more target there. Panicked by the sound of gunfire, the boars stampeded out of the forest like a tidal wave. What they didn't know was that we had already set up an ambush in that very direction.
Le dernier là-bas, tout seul.
As soon as the moment came, a barrage of gunfire rained down like a thunderstorm. Under this ferocious assault, one wild boar was fatally struck deep in the forest. While I lay quietly in ambush, an unexpected scene unfolded. At first, only one boar appeared, then two, then three, and finally a fourth rushed in right behind. My heart pounded, but I kept my aim steady and breathing under control. In just a few short seconds, I pulled the trigger one after another, each shot firm and decisive. All four boars were swiftly and cleanly taken down. It was almost unbelievable, but it truly happened. This will undoubtedly be a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. While we paused to rest, a dark figure suddenly thundered down upon us. Reacting on instinct, I didn't have time to think. I raised my gun and fired several shots in quick succession. In that chaotic moment, the bullets found their mark, earning us yet another hard-won trophy. That successful shot gave us the motivation to press on. And we didn't have to wait long. Soon, a herd emerged unexpectedly from the dense forest canopy. Before they could scatter and flee, I raised my gun and took one down right there in the heart of the wild. In the eerie stillness of the ancient forest, even the slightest sound from the boars was clearly audible, especially when they moved in groups. Holding my breath, gun at the ready, I waited for the perfect moment. A burst of gunfire followed swiftly, but this time all the bullets missed. What did you think of the adventure? Leave a comment below.
For the past 2 weeks, villagers in a rural region of Turkey have been constantly complaining about wild boars destroying their crops and even attacking livestock at night. Despite trying various traditional methods, the problem persisted. Faced with this urgent situation, our hunting team teamed up with the locals to take action. And so began the chase for these destructive invaders. This would be our first ambush of the day. We had just gotten into position when the first dark shapes started to emerge from the distance. Startled by the gunshot, the boar bolted, crashing through the underbrush trying to escape. After several more rounds, it finally collapsed onto the forest floor, and I couldn't help but celebrate the moment. Following that first success, our team advanced the mountain slope. We immediately got into position, constantly adjusting our scopes as the herd moved unpredictably through the rough terrain. The first shots were fired from a considerable distance, a real challenge. But thanks to sharp focus and accurate shooting, we managed to bring down several targets in the blink of an eye. We had only moved a short distance when suddenly, another familiar silhouette appeared. The moment it poked out from the brush.
Ify red, quick, clean.
And precise. Not far from there,
Another wild boar darted out.
I stood my ground, gripped the rifle tightly, and opened fire. Unfortunately, my first shot missed.
J20 the animal a chance to sprint away.
Luckily, my hunting partner had been waiting further down the slope. Right beside us, another friend fired and sent a second boar tumbling to the ground. The loud barking of our hunting dogs led us to another boar trying to hide. But this one wouldn't go down easy.
Le VN d'instinct driven.
It slipped through narrow gaps and dense foliage. Our team opened fire, but the boar kept weaving through the undergrowth.
Outmanœuvring every bullet. In the end, the herd managed to escape.
Leaving us behind, frustrated and regretful. We pressed on over rugged, rocky trails, making our way toward the mountain peak. Scanning the landscape ahead, we spotted a herd of boars charging downhill. Determined not to let them get away, we quickly spread out and blocked off key escape routes. As soon as the boars broke from the trees, my buddy and I opened fire,
letting off a storm of bullets.
Despite their frantic dash, two of them fell almost instantly. We were certain more wild boars were still hiding nearby. The team kept searching. Suddenly, under fierce pursuit by our dogs, a huge boar burst from the bushes, startling everyone. But this was no ordinary prey. It was strong, fast, and surprisingly agile. One final burst, then it collapsed in the middle of the forest, bringing an end to a truly intense encounter.